Thank you so much, Chris. I gotta say, I'm not super surprised by the channel points, but an interesting bet, depending on if you want to go with Florida, given the stakes for right now. But Jay, talk to me, man. How do you feel about this series? It feels like we've been kind of waiting for this one for a few hours now.
Yeah, it's been a really long time, but enough from us. Don't worry, this series is gonna be great. LA Thieves trying to come out and get their the second win of the entire season so far. Starting off on this hotel, going up against the Florida roster, I feel like Florida need to come out swinging. One play that I'm really focused on has to be Havoc. Overall on the season, a .76. This is a guy who, when he joined that Minnesota roster last year, he was a main slayer. He has to do it today versus a team like the Thieves.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He's going to have to do it versus one of the more powerhouse slang rosters that we have in the CDL. I mean, they're the defending champions, for God's sake. But off the start, you do see a nice little headbutt over toward P1. LAT started things off with more preferred spawns. Mutineers doing their best to at least make P1 competitive, if not trying to fight for that spawn as well at the same time. They do have a few players in the back, and it looks like job may be done for that. Yeah,
job is well done right there for Florida. They control the spawns for the P2 going into this next hard point. Now all you have to do is hold the pressure, pushing through Jules. Havoc at least finds one, relieves a little bit of that pressure, but his team is going to be fully set up. Now you have to watch the pitch from the back. Fortunately, Vico is going to lose that first gunfight, so the trade battle is already going to start, and LA Thieves come in flying.
Oh, they just run in with a point to prove, so you can have those spawns all that you'd like. A great little break there coming in from Thieves. Soul Man in the back lines is going to be Havoc. However, spawns are still close for Mutineers. They break through with two, relying on Havoc to help try to lead the way. As we said, a player to look out for. Currently, Vaznev in hand. At least puts one away, but the Mutineers, I tell you what, Jay, did not really go the way that they would have expected given this opening hill. LAT making them work for every second.
Yeah, now they need to get this remaining 20 seconds because you are going to lose that rotation over towards Kitchen. You have to give yourself at least a little bit of a lead to try to execute this break on towards the next hard point. Havoc's going to pop that dead silence, slowly work his way up through carpets. Vico actually is going to find that first bullet onto Envoy, so now it's going to all fall into the hands of Octane. Kenny's also going to drop, so now Octane in the 1v2 has to win gunfights.
Oh, how about the rookie trying to lead the way on the 5 spree, loses his teammate, loses his life, loses the streak, and with that, LAT are able to hold. A very big situation for them. As we said, they had that rotation. Mutineers were there. They come knocking, and LAT will retake that advantage. Well, good old Dylan Envoy trying to cause some havoc, cause some problems in the middle side of the map. He puts away 2. Florida, they're knocking on the door. The problem is that really only half the team is there. Yeah, you need to get the break now because you see the spawn starting to flip. Havoc is able to take down Kenny, so that was the first player on the rotation for the LA Thieves. But now LA Thieves, they had a great hold on this kitchen hill. Envoy, unfortunately, he's going to drop, but the final 15 is going to go in favor of Florida. But if you're the LA Thieves, you can take that because now you have that rotation over towards the next hill. They are a step ahead right now. Yeah, LAT unfortunately did have the early checkout. Positive being is the fact that they're at the concierge desk first. So they'll start things off in the more advantageous spot as we head in toward our 4th hill in the first set of rotations. It feels a little bit like Florida's been playing off the back foot. Positive for them, however, is that they've got their rookie going off right now. 13 and 5. Vico, a man on fire. Some great work coming in from him. As he does fall, though, again for Florida, it's about trying to make your way, track through the middle side of the map. Hand in hand go Bracken Major Maniac. The AR is trying to clear the way.
Oh, this is so difficult. Look at the setup right now from the Thieves. You had Envoy all the way pushed out towards bedroom. He's the player that put a lot of focus for Florida. You got to be able to at least take that guy down if you want to try to attack this from the front, but they just give it up. They said, no, setup way too strong. Unfortunately, they do get the spawns in towards the back, but now once again, they're off the back foot. Do not have the rotation going into this diner hill. Fully set up are going to be the Thieves. Hasn't been good. At least the 2 times that Thieves are fully set up, they were only able to get at least 15 seconds. But now someone has to hit the route, and it's going to be Major Maniac taking his sweet time to go all the way around kitchen.
You'll see if Major's play will pay off. Slowly and surely, trying to make his way around the corner. Envoy there to read him. A nice little spree going for multiple players. Actually, both the sub players run a bit of a spree there for a moment. As we highlighted Kenny, now with the Vaznev in hand after the recent role change up in terms of you know, the guns, the metas, all of that wonderful stuff. A lot of people wondering how LAT would play, and at least so far throughout a very small sample size of the first few hills, looks like it's going pretty well.
Yeah, they're not worried. Their setups right now are just way too damn strong. Florida has not been able to get a break in. Even though they do win the trade battle as of right now, that's going to be 3 dead. They're able to challenge the last player on the point, which is going to be Octane. Once again, they get the final 15 seconds. But this time around, they will have those spawns for back plat. It's going to be a huge one-on-one between Envoy and the other player that's pushing around the back, which is going to be Brack. Brack reads it beautifully. Big first kill. Should allow Florida to now get set up.
And this is really the first LJ that I think the Mutineers have. I mean, P2, technically they didn't have spawns off the start, but it just feels like they've been playing catch up all throughout the first set of rotations. Not being their first, we'll see if they can finally start to lock one down. And this isn't a hill necessarily known for its money hill potential. There is a chance for it. However, as we say that, a few begin to fall. LAT, they reclaim control. And this is bad news for the Mutineers considering our current scoreline.
Yeah, this is bad news. They take down that last player who's pushing out towards bedroom. Now you see the spawns do flip. So now all of LA Thieves get the information that they're going to try to break this through back. Kitchen, Vika with great shots to take down Kenny, but Envoy immediately there for the trade. Another final 15. This is going to go in favor of Florida, but you can't keep racking up on these 15s when you're allowing LA Thieves to get a good 45. Still a comfortable lead right now for the Thieves going into the second rotations.
You see LAT trying to prefer, again, those P2 spawns. You want to be in the more advantageous spot. P1 is nice, but you definitely prefer to have those money hills locked down. Great work coming in from Octane and Drazah. However, I want to throw it to the other side of the stage. Let's see how the comms are sounding right now with the Mutineers.
I can flank Leaf. I can flank Leaf. Wait for me,
Okay. Lily's really weak for you.
Try to play P2. I'm nice. Give me a phone booth.
He's couches at a time. On point.
I'm one red.
Nice,
Double dead.
Nice, good job. Let's get all this down.
Give me red. Yeah, tuck out. Looking.
Yeah, I'm coming.
I'm gonna wrap P2. I'm gonna wrap P2. Oh my god.
Good job, Mike.
I'm being double. Nice, good job, Mike. Look my cat. I'm
I fell down. Lily's and Mike.
I'm gonna hold my good. I'm gonna come couches. I'm dead. Okay. No, bed got me. Make sure we hold this time. Bed's getting through.
Can someone look my
left? I spawned over. Get my double pinch. Do reception desk. I'm coming new. Come get my Sadie pinch. Cole. Coming. Reception dead. Nice. We're missing one. He could be back spotted backstairs maybe. No, they're gonna be crossing bed here. I'm gonna try to cut that. We're missing one. He could be on reception. No, one's Lily. Top cat on. One's couches.
He's really weak reception. I'm one shot. I gotta lay down.
Ayo, someone kill the guy reception.
One's already spawned. To my left.
Reception dead. Backstairs. He's going back spot side.
Backstairs. They could spawn the back.
I got your back steps for time. Get my
bar
shot.
side.
Gucci on me. In the back dead. Gucci Drazah. Gucci from the back. From the back broken. Close side broken. Stun in weak.
Single. One shot single.
I'll get your single.
And I don't know about you, Lando, but all I heard, at least in the beginning of that listening, was, oh my God, Mike. Oh my God, Mike. You got a 5-piece on the middle of the hill. That was super hilarious. Obviously, the gas right there for Florida. They were able to get a good chunk time off of that middle hill. Fight this P2 all the way to the very end and sort of got themselves right back into this game. Now they just have to win a rotation gunfight. And you see the mini-map. They will be the first over towards that kitchen side.
Yeah, it was very, nice, calm, cool, collected. Like I said, a lot of praise given to Major Maniac. I guess maybe one of their veteran leaders when it comes down to this team. But all things aside, this is the hill that we got to focus on. An opportunity for Florida to get back in this game. An opportunity for Thieves to only extend what currently is a 30-point advantage. And there you have it. We called upon the Vaznevs to try to put in some work for Thieves. Kenny and Envoy go big for 3. They open up the floodgates, and Envoy only continues to see success. Kenny watching over for him, going over toward the wood plat, continuing to clear out Florida. Another lead extension, 25 away.
Yeah, and this is tough. Florida need this break, or this game is basically going to be done and dusted. Major does find the first. The trade does come in. That's going to be 3 net. Another final 15 goes in favor of Florida. Now they're going to be off the back foot, off this rotation. It's all going to come down to these gunfights. Someone has to win a gunfight. You have 2 players who are spawning over towards that bedroom side. It's going to be all-out pressure from the front. You cannot allow the Thieves to get closer and closer to closing out this game.
Nice little slithering being shown coming out of Envoy. Kenny, meanwhile, slaying out with the Vaz. As we said, big player to look out for throughout this series. So far in the hard point, squeaky clean. 22 and 17. Mutineers, 5 more seconds. You got to jump into the point. You got to try to make a play. It's a crossfire. Literally no man's land as they rush in toward the bar. They line up, they fall, and there you have it. As lovely as you'd like, LA Thieves closing out a nice little opening hard point. And I think Octane might have just woken up.
Yeah, LA Thieves just played a great opening hard point. Rotation after rotation. They're only allowing Florida to get the final 15 on some of these money hills, and that's not going to cut it. On a game like Modern Warfare 2, where rotation is so damn important, you got to make sure you're always putting yourself in the front foot. You can't be playing from a step behind, because LA Thieves, they were able to hold the majority of these hills for like 45 seconds, giving it up in the last 15 by losing a couple gunfights, but they weren't worried about it because they won the rotation towards the next hill. I felt like if Florida were able to stop the bleeding, especially early on in the first rotation of hard points at that kitchen hill, at the P4 at double desk, they had to make sure that they were not going to get put down on both of those hard points, because you allowed the Thieves to get a nice comfortable lead to where they can keep a couple hills scrappy. P1 was scrappy off the second rotation, P2 was scrappy off the second rotation, but every time the Thieves needed to get a money hill to grow the lead a little bit more, they got it done at the P3s, at the P4s to close it out, and they take the map number 1.
Yeah, and I guess the one maybe opportunity that we would talk about, hey, well, maybe this is an opportunity right for the Mutineers to close out a hard point versus an incredibly stacked LAT roster in this particular mode, would maybe be down to the SMGs. I mean, it felt like Vehicle had his moments as we see the nice little spree here. I mean, Havoc, I guess maybe not the map that he would like to have still yet, but like I said, man, it was like Florida were breaking. It just, they weren't breaking at the right time. Like, we're not breaking when there's 45, 50 seconds left. We're breaking for like a good, I don't know, 15, maybe 20 seconds max. And I don't know, it just felt like the lead for Thieves just continued to grow. They really wouldn't give away these hard points. And whenever it felt like Florida was starting to get a little bit of momentum, maybe toward the end of the game, it's too late, a little too late.
Yeah, it's just a little too late. When you're Florida in this situation, when you're playing from the back foot, that's why you're going to have a couple players negative. It's not like the guys played bad. It was a very close map, number 1. It just came down to a couple of these setups. The Thieves' setup, especially on that P4, was way too strong. You have one player who was supposed to have bedroom. You're forcing a crossfire to be set up from Florida. Now they have to worry about the players on hill and worry about their back, and that's never an easy task to get done. Just when you continue to play from the back foot, you're not going to put up the best numbers in the stat-wise when it comes to the slaying. But this is where Florida need to respond. 2-3-5 team, like the Desk touched on it. They're going into a aBeZy S&D. This is the only search and destroy that they haven't played all season. So I'm really hoping that the practice that they put in really allows them to at least even up this series up at 1.
Yeah, anybody who invested those precious channel points, we're all aware of the fact that, you know what, it's probably going to be a 2-3-5. It's going to be a 2-3-5 if we end up with a W versus the LA Thieves. So normally I feel like if you are, you know, a team in the CDL, you're like, oh, wow, like we lost opening hardpoint. We got to rebound in the S&D. I feel like Florida almost has like a new level of confidence when it comes down to search and destroy. I know the record isn't amazing. I know the round win percentage isn't amazing. But Jay, like you could just tell, like when we were watching, I think it was like one of their first series versus like Las Vegas Legion.
Yep.
Like Havoc and Vehicle were just running through the middle side of the map, like Major Maniac's in his element. All of these guys just feel like they're like, okay, the series actually starts when we get to game number 2. How do you feel about how these teams stack up in search and destroy, and specifically on aLLeY?
I feel like, obviously on the side of the Thieves, you have played this map before. You played it against Atlanta FaZe. Unfortunately, you fall short in a 6-3. So you can make a couple adjustments. So a couple of those rounds that costed you that game 5. And on the opposite side, it's completely unknown on the side of Florida, because we all expect this team to be great at search and destroy. We know what they are capable of, and when I got a chance to look at the player cams even just now, it looked like Vehicle was really stepping up in the comms. Everyone is probably a little silent, probably besides Major Maniac. That guy has always been a leader. But for the rookie to really step up in this communication, he's trying to rally the troops, knowing that this search and destroy is really important for this team. Look at the stats already from the young man. 1.32 in S&D. That guy has to be a man that you have to slow down. But I'm really looking at Havoc. This is another guy who can take over in S&D. They got to be hand in hand, side by side, taking over.
Yeah, I'm looking at that first blood. In terms of round percentage as well is very, very strong for Vehicle. I know that was one of the biggest positives, right? Getting picked up to this Florida Mutineers team, right? Florida goes for the major investment when it comes down to challengers. They have 2 players that had a hand in winning every single challengers LAN last season between both Røkkr and Vehicle. But not only was it the accolades for both of them, but also very well known when it comes down to their comms. I think Vehicle's like 19 years old, but feels like he can definitely lead a team early on. As we said, his rookie season, Røkkr really his second official season outside of like Black Ops 4. A young team filled with some vets. We'll see if they have the ice when it comes down to S&D. And speaking of the man, Brack, nice little first blood to start things off.
And this is exactly how I was expecting Florida to come out in this S&D. Come out swinging. They get the opening first too. The bomb is going to be planted as well for that top plant. So you can get a little clutch spot just in case your teammates do drop. But one player is going to stay in towards site. That's going to be Havoc. Octane picks up the Vaznev. Does not have dead silence to work with. Brack also takes down one. Now all up the Octane. And that's the way you set the tone right there if you're Florida. You do the non-stop aggression. Now you're going to force LA Thieves to make the adjustments on defense. We got to have someone in that site because that bomb plant was way too easy for the Mutineers. Up 1-0.
Yeah, you can tell, right? This came into round one with an absolute game plan. I guarantee as soon as that hard pointed it, it's like, okay, S&D on aLLeY. How do we want to play round number one? And it is picture perfect. As you said, the first blood leads to the instant bomb plant. And from there, LAT, maybe a little bit of subtane action. Who knows? Maybe we could see more of that inside of the warehouse. However, it does not work out that time. We flip the sides. LAT, their first opportunity at attack. And it looks as if it is standard stuff. Into the warehouse we go.
Just going to take their time. Florida is doing a great job of just maintaining courtyard side. So now they can push up. Be a little bit aggressive on the right, but the bomb plant is going to go down for the LA Thieves. So far in the season, they have 9 bomb plants, but only 4 round wins. Before retake, 40 seconds. What can Florida do?
Oh, and a great first blood comes in from Vehicle. He had dead silence in that moment. Both the rookies are, I guess, you know, again, Brack kind of somewhat questionable. Anyway, 2v4, LAT. How do they play this? Envoy, solid as ever. Comes away with 2, tags up the 3rd, and leaves Octane in a position to clutch. And there we have it. Florida Mutineers, they walk away with the early picks. And despite the nice little double coming in from Envoy, they collapse and they take round 2.
Yeah, right there, Florida, they were not worried at all. Once you take courtyard side, you know that no one's going to pinch out through top money. No one's going to push towards your bottom double doors. They just hold their pre-aims down. Vico opens up with a big first blood to take down that player being aggressive on their side. Brack, the player that was overextended towards B, trying to catch any players lurking up that side of the map through field, takes him down, and then in the 4v2, you play your trades. Even though Envoy makes it a little bit scary, they come out on top of the numbers in Florida, 2-0.
I'm going to see LAT already start to make some adjustments, and they talked about that at the start of this map, Jay.
That guy's strong.
Loss. Oh, the nice little stun gets tossed out. They actually did this in a previous aLLeY search and destroy. Remember, Octane ended up getting the pick, but having to adapt in Florida. Crafty as you'd like, right? They've been playing aggressive. They've been playing up in your face. And as we head into the 3rd round, not an inch moved.
Yeah, this is exactly how you want to play, though, because when you start off your first attacking round super aggressive, you know that LATs have to switch it up. They cannot play passive. They have to change their positioning up a little bit. So let's try to just catch someone lacking. Because now the bomb is slowly going to approach towards top money. First gunfight's going to be here. Envoy does find the first, but Vico with the trade. Now Octane with that sniper pistol in hand, he has to be careful because one player actually slips up all the way towards top radio tower, and Major Miniac is now going to be behind enemy lines.
Oh, he is indeed. He is indeed. This is the only area of the map where I feel like you can't be heard if you don't have dead silence. And they're making the full-on wrap. Yeah, Octane, he gets found out. So the calls are going to be, hey, at least someone's on our flank. Little do they know, Major Maniac is already at the top mountain. Throws out some shots, and now it is on to Kenny and Drazah. And we'll have, all you have it. Strictly up to Kenny. At least brings it to a 1v2. Bomb's going to get planted. Equal and Brack left.
Takes the super long route. On the backside of Cliff. He has an SMG in hand. Does not have any dead silence to work with as well. And Vico's going to be the player that sits in towards the site. Just make sure nothing fishy happens. Brack is just going to watch his middle alley. Vico's going to give the call out. The turn comes in. And that's a beautifully played round right there from Florida. Great way for them to get that information. Even though they do get first blooded, the trade is there. They push up through radio side, and then they slowly wrap around towards B, slowly picking apart the LA Thieves players. Once they soloed out Brack towards this yellow van, it was basically all chalk. Because the other guy, even though Kenny picks up a kill from bottom middle, you're able to get that bomb plant down at B, and then the crossfire is beautifully set up. Florida, not making any mistakes so far in the search and destroy.
No, not at all. And one stat that we actually had coming into this was LAT, when it comes into first bloods, right? They've actually pretty decent in terms of, you know, getting them, but once they have them, only winning 40% of those rounds. Unacceptable, without question, when it comes into search destroy. That stat has got to be higher, and in round number 3, seems like still dealing with a few of the same problems. Florida, can they make it 4 in a row? LAT back on attack and eyeing up that mattress bomb site over at A. A few early bits of damage in from V-Colt. Nice little nade over the top. The frag lands directly under Kenny's feet. Octane, he gets dropped as well. Florida look to be in the driver's seat. Havoc's here and everybody running around the warehouse. And it is Kenny and Drazah, rather Envoy and Drazah, just trying to get out of dodge.
Drazah's at least able to take down one. Havoc there with the trade though, so now it's on Envoy in the 1v2. He does have bomb in hand, but look at the setup right now for Florida. They're not going to let anyone slip through. Major Maniac's able to get the information and get out with his life, and this might work out right here for Envoy. Big first kill. Now 25 seconds left. Brack is in a great position to take him down, but Envoy's playing this beautifully.
Brack dead silence. Envoy dead silence. Here they come. Here they come. Wow. And it's going to be Envoy clutching out for the team. Prior teammates going up against each other. But it will be the first round for Thieves. And it comes off the back of a lovely little clutch coming in from Dylan Hannon. Great work from him. And thank goodness the Thieves got on the board there, Jay, because it was looking grim.
Yeah, that was a 4v2 as well. Like right there, Florida, everybody take a chill pill. We just literally got the opening 2 kills. They have to plant the bomb. We do not have to be aggressive in through bottom pool, especially if not everyone is going to be on the same page. We just gave a lot of one-on-one gunfights, and LA Thieves are able to capitalize on it. Now take their very first round of the game. Momentum is totally going to be on their side, especially when Envoy is clutching up plays like that. Setup's going to be a little different, though. No courtyard control. They're going to just sit double stacking in towards this A bomb.
Utility tossed, and everybody's got those headsets turned up. That's without question.
Without question.
Here on the warehouse here inside of LSCLO, that's really what it's all about. We've even seen some players just be like, yeah, I'm just going to sit in the corner. I'll just be the guy that just listens for every single bit of information possible. Literally call out the birds chirping on this map individually. Yep, we all just heard a step, and so did Envoy. Where are they looming? Where could they be? And right now, Octane with the sniper has just continued to be aggressive over at that B side. Only player that he really could find a pick on. At the moment, best target, maybe Major Maniac. He could be jumping into his sights before long. 25 seconds left. Somebody's going to get going.
Somebody's got to go, but Brack might have just played this beautifully. The late rotation towards back green is able to open up this B bomb side. I thought it was flipped. I thought Florida on defense with how much map control they had on the opponent's side. But now in the 4v2, make it a 4v1. Beautiful, beautiful play call. All left up to Envoy in the 1v4. Not going to be easy to get done. He does take down one. Major Maniac, we're not going to go for the complete chow, but this round was basically done and dusted. The play call right there from Florida. Slowly wrap through that rate. Wait a minute. All right, you got it.
I got it. It's over.
My God.
It's over. It's done, Jay. Take it away. That was, I don't know. Envoy's just a man on a mission right now.
Yeah, so right there, the play call was beautiful. You take, once again, radio tower control. Major Maniac slowly works his way up to the opponent's base. And while his teammates are doing that, Brack slow plays his spawn, wraps his way towards back green, because right there, LA Thieves, they get the information. They're pushing through courtyard. They're probably going to go for a B push, but when Brack breaks their setup by wrapping back towards green, he finds that opening 2-piece. The bomb gets planted, and then you play it beautifully. It got a little scary there at the end, but Florida, once again, not making any mistakes. Beautiful round.
And right now, Kenny and Octane combining for 1 in 10. Oh. Okay, well, there you have it, Octane. All right. Just had to give a nice little call out, and he'll deliver. Okay. Hate to see that. That would have been a nice little addition to the montage. And there goes Major Maniac. At the very least, it is a second pick for the Thieves. And as we said, after a round like that one, they definitely want to try to get another one on the board. 5-1 looks a lot different in comparison to 4-2. And that is exactly what we have in terms of life count right now. 2v4, Florida Mutineers, Havoc and Brack. What can they find?
Oh, and Havoc's able to take down one. Bomb is going to be getting planted down towards A, but Havoc will get traded. So now it's all left up to Brack. They know that this is the player that usually loves to play over towards that B site. But Brack is going to find himself in towards courtyard. The challenge is going to come in towards top money. Not able to win it. And that's a beautiful play right there from LA Thieves, especially on the back of Octane, finding that first blood. Great job for them to keep themselves in this search and destroy. Now down 4-2.
We'll see what they can do off of that. Again, LA Thieves, I mean, a roster that really involves all 4 players when it comes into comms. Like, all these guys have got experience, been on the brightest of stage. Like I said, they're the defending champions, for God's sake. But again, we oftentimes can hear a few different players giving out call-outs, giving out different points of interest, strategies, all of it. But right now, Envoy very much leading the way for the team. We'll see if maybe that pick from Octane, a nice little second kill from Kenny, gets those 2 going. If they start to arrive, this could look like a very, very different search destroy and a very different series. Deddy popped and Envoy looks to make the play through the back lines. Major Maniac, as if he knew exactly what was happening, reads it. Another first blood for Florida.
Yeah, read like a book right there. Great plays out of Major to get that first blood. So now if you're Florida, you can slowly start to work up. You have the man advantage. Just double chow in towards the safe bomb, just in case one player is going to be sitting on this site. But Octane's in a great position just watching this cross. He's able to spot 2. So he gets that information, and the timing might be beautifully. Major Maniac does get one with the nade, but Octane, unfortunately, with the stick, is not going to get a kill. All left up to Drazah in a 1v4.
That has got to be so frustrating if you're Octane. Like,
that's tough.
You see 2 players' shoulders as they run into Mattress. Then you're like, okay, I got the pistol. Let me throw out the nade, do some damage. I'll at least find one, surely. The nade literally just clips the side of the window, and as he challenges, he just dies. I don't know how much overall difference it would have made, but we're talking about Octane. Kenny trying to get on the board. They lose their main man, the main slayer in this search, destroy an Envoy, and from there, it all falls to pieces. Nice little responding round there out of the Mutineers once again, as aBeZy has looked very clean and very, very comfortable. We'll see if they can put him away here.
We will have to see, as early aggression from Florida to take control of this A-bomb. The double stack does come in once again. Brack the safety net, just in case any players try to overextend through B. But now it's on the LA Thieves. How are they going to decide to play this? Which is the player they're going to decide to solo out? It's looking like players are going to just push up towards this B bomb. Brack's going to have a field day if they cannot figure where he is. Oh, well, good stun.
Aware of the common positioning. And there you have it. Kenny able to strike for the first. Brack has to back on up. Octane's there to drop him. Vehicle trying to do all he can inside of the Mattress, but they call upon one man. And that man is Major Maniac. Bomb getting ready to get planted. And we'll see what Mike can do. Not an easy task by any means, but maybe he's been in more difficult spots. And you've got all 3 players huddled around that position. They're not going to give anything away for free.
Yeah, 35 seconds, 1v3. You have 2 players who are basically playing inside the bomb site. The other player in Envoy watching the cross. They're just trying to get any information of how they are playing the setup, but they aren't giving up anything until Envoy gives up the free kill. So now 1v2 with 20 seconds left. The nade is going to come in. You do not get a hit marker, but it doesn't look like there's going to be enough time on that clock for him to get both kills and defuse it. LA Thieves get their 3rd round on the board, and they've all been on the attacking round. So far, they're 0-4 on defense. We got to clutch up on a defensive round if we want to stay alive in this game a little longer. But great play call right there from the LA Thieves. Get the first blood onto Havoc. You solo out Brack. You get the bomb down. Played it beautifully. 5-3.
This is what we just talked about, right? When it comes down to just making adjustments. As we said, Envoy getting involved in the comms. He's maybe making the call coming into this round. Drazah as well. Just trying to adapt to, again, what is going to be a very crafty team in the Florida Mutineers. It feels like the record, the round win percentage is a little deceiving when it comes down to this group. We've called them the 2-3-5 masters potentially, but still have to close out this one versus the Thieves. 1 round to go. Thieves still working from the back foot. First blood would be nice, and Drazah definitely sees and now feels that tactical get tossed out. And with that, Major Maniac will give some comms to his teammates, but take a look at the wrap coming in from Thieves. They've soloed out one, and they instantly go for the pinch. Can he able to drop the first one? The rookie goes bye-bye. And Drazah's able to find another one as well. Trade still working out for the Thieves, as it's all on to Major Maniac once more.
And I'm pretty sure the bomb is planted for him towards his top plat, but that stun is going to give up this position. He's able to find that kill on the Drazah. They're on the defuse. Major, unfortunately, is not going to read it. There's too many bodies he has to worry about, and LA Thieves get their very first defensive round win of the S&D. It all comes with the aggression. Even though the bomb goes planted down for the Florida Mutineers immediately, just so much map control that the LA Thieves are able to take. You be aggressive through that field side, you take control of their top plat, then you win a majority of your gunfights into bottom middle towards bottom pool. Great work right there from the Thieves to keep themselves alive in this game a little longer. Far from done.
You know, Major Maniac's been the guy in the back as well, and I think once Drazah learns a little bit of that information, he and Envoy just sees it from
Leave him alone.
Some great adaptation being shown from the Thieves, starting to bring themselves back. They're down 5-2, now 5-4. And what appeared to be an A hit very well could be a rotation now. We'll see how quickly the Mutineers players look to adapt to this. Major Maniac.
Oh,
And Drazah checks top shelf. Great work from the Alaskan assassin. Had to bring it out at least one time as they find the first blood and they instantly go for another rotation back to A.
That's perfect because they know where Brack is. They know that Brack is the safety net at that B site. So let's get this bomb down towards A, have our man advantage, and force the retake. So now how do Florida decide to play this? They have Brack slowly trying to approach up through field side. One player trying to push out through courtyard, which is Havoc. Vigo's actually going to go for the challenge on towards bomb, so this is going to be difficult. 2 players drop, 1v4, all left up to Brack and LA Thieves. Flawless attacking round to now bring us to a round 11.
To round 11 we go. Down 5-2. They brought it back 5-5.
World champs for a reason.
With the lifeline, right, Jay? This is the lifeline for the Mutineers. If they don't win this search destroy, it looks very, very terrifying.
Yeah, because then it relies for you to beat the Thieves roster in a hardpoint or in a respawn, and it's been really difficult to do that, especially in that hardpoint game mode. So this is a search and destroy they need to take. They're going to be on the defensive side. This time you cannot allow the Thieves to get that first blood. Drazah got that kill last round with 4 health remaining. So just don't give anything up easy. We should have a great round 11.
Into it we go. Oftentimes in these overtime rounds, you'll see players kind of start things off a little slow. However, Octane singled out. I think it was Major. The eagle eyes. Managed to spot one over toward the top side of the arches. They work together. They single out Sam LaRue. And with that, Thieves already have to work from man disadvantage. Kenny trying to get aggressive. No Vaznev on aLLeY, and I wouldn't blame him. Attack 56 all the way home. We'll see what he can do with it. Still looking for picks.
Yeah, he just ran out of his dead silence, so now you have to slow down on your movement. You don't want to give your position up. As Drazah is slowly going to creep his way up towards the back B. Bomb is actually going to break its way in towards BS&D. Brack's going to take a couple shots, give up his positioning, but it's looking like the bomb should get planted. They're actually going to try to solo out Brack. They get that opening kill. 3v3, but Major with the trade.
Major with the trade. Bomb is gonna get planted. Yes, it does. Drazah and Kenny left up to those two, all on. Now to Kylo Ken, a 1v3 clutch, tries to make his way carefully around the outside of the garage. A 5-2 lead, a little bit of the sweat off the brow, but it is all hype now. Mutineers will hold on to this search and destroy. It takes them around 11, but they're able to do it regardless. And what a win it must be. It felt like LATJ, they were starting to figure him out.
Yeah.
They were starting to realize, okay, Major Maniac, he likes to hold this angle. Brack, as you said, is the safety net. But Mutineers just had that one final strategy. And it manages to get them over the finish line first.
Yeah, and that strategy was beautiful. They soloed out Octane. They know that Octane likes to fight over towards that radio tower side. They send 2 players on that side of the map. Havoc gets the information. They get a couple stuns in, double nade them out. You get that first blood, and then time was starting to tick down. These had to make a play. They overextend over towards B. Brack with that repositioning, even though he does get dropped, gives it all to his teammates that the push is coming in towards B. I feel like if Drazah times that kill beautifully, like when he shoots at Major Maniac top party, not able to get that kill. Remember, he was going back and forth between left green fence and top party. Maybe if he just secures one angle and tries to hold down that green fence, gets that kill, turns it into a 2v2, totally different round. But once he loses that gunfight 2 vehicle, all left up to Kenny in the 1v3, not going to be easy. And Florida, they respond exactly how they needed to do so in that search and destroy. Now we have a great series, 1-1.
Oh, we do indeed, my good sir. We do indeed. We're heading back to aLLeY for the control. We close things out on back-to-back And aBeZy, who knows if we get there? But again, you know what? Florida, they're able to clutch up, and now really the question mark comes to them. We've labeled them as 2-3-5. Neslo's watching somewhere, and he's nervous. He's excited. Could it be a nice little W versus the LA Thieves? We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, when we come back after the break, ladies and gentlemen, game number 3. Stay with us. It's the final series of the day. Florida, LA, stay with us.
The Call of Duty League is presented by the GMC Hummer EV Pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Call of Duty League. It is our final series of the day, and it's myself and good old Jeremy Stud. We're bringing it home. We started off the day in a little bit of a rough way, lots of tech issues, but we're back. And you know what? I'm just very glad that Florida managed to win that last search destroy, because I would not have liked their chances being down 2-0 versus the defending champions. However, Jay, when it comes down to this next control on aLLeY, we do have a little bit of info when it comes down to the Florida Mutineers. They've played it twice. How do you want to see them evolve? What things have you liked? What things have you disliked coming into this next one?
Well, I'll tell you, I really like their attacking rounds. So far, they have 5 attacking rounds underneath their belt on aLLeY control, but 0 defensive rounds. So that's kind of the thing. They're also going up against the LA Thieves roster who haven't played this map yet on the season. They're definitely practicing it. But if you are Florida, you just have to make your adjustments on your defensive side. We have to close out one of these defensive pushes so we can push out towards green, hold a little bit more map control, and not make the job as easy for LA Thieves to capture either one of these points. Just keep the kills stagnant.
I hear that. I hear that indeed. Florida defense. Offense, great. So we'll see. We'll see what happens as we jump into their very first offense, and well, it wasn't the greatest of starts. 2 players fall, the SMGs, as a matter of fact. We'll see what they can do. And we know on aLLeY, the easier of the 2, at least has been A to start things off, and it's kind of a more of a migration later on down toward that B zone. However, off the rip, Thieves have been ultimately punishing. It is one kill for Florida to kick off this round, Jay.
Yeah, if you remember the last time that they played this map on the side of Florida, it was versus Minnesota. They were put in that hefty spawn trap. But with Major Maniac able to find that too, now relieve some of that pressure. We can get control of bottom pool if we can win a couple gunfights. Envoy, he's going to be the player to take down 1, takes down 2. Now all your focus is on the last 2 players approaching towards this A site. With 1 player pushed out towards green, though, in Octane, the spawns are going to be a lot closer for this 8.4 Florida. They also have top radio control.
Oh, gosh, but Drazah, 7-1, finally hits the dirt, but still it is flank after flank.
Oh, my.
Mutineers don't know which way to turn. Oh, good Lord, they finally have reached the point, but Envoy, believe it or not, is on a flank again. Mutineers, could they at least get a tick for their troubles? I mean, for God's sake, it has been so terribly tough. Oh, Drazah jumps in. They get the tick. It looks like they did. At least 1 for their troubles, but that looks to be about it. Havoc gonna try to make the play. Drazah, an excellent start to this aLLeY control. Ends things out at 9-2, and the Mutineers, well, Jay, we said they looked great on offense, not great on defense. That was not a good start historically.
Yeah, definitely not a good start for all the players on Florida. You basically were put in the spawn trap 15 to 20 seconds into the round. You're never going to find success like that if you can't find any kills, especially towards bottom pool. Once you lose that mid-map control, it's basically chalk, because then you're forced to overextend through either side, through field side, or try to take control of radio tower. But LA Thieves, they were ready for both pushes at any given moment. A dominant defensive round to start us off for the Thieves.
See if they can add upon it. As we said, Florida yet to win a defense on aLLeY. See if they can change that up, and they're definitely going to need to if they expect to win this game number 3, the swing mode indeed. This vehicle will start things off nicely. LAT prioritizing the arches off the start here of their attacking campaign. Some nice shots coming in from Drazah. Meanwhile, as Octane eagle eyes toward the top side of the red tower, watching over for his teammates, and they seem to be handling business quite nicely right now.
Yeah, they're calm, cool, and collected if you're the Thieves. You only have 1 player, almost 2 players on that point. They're just trying to catch a couple kills, lacking of players, trying to hit that late flank. They take down 2. They know the positioning of Brack, so it's looking like Florida are going to have to be forced to give this one up, play the defense over towards B, and it's looking a little scary, especially when you look at that kill feed.
Yeah.
No kills going in their favor, but Envoy, he's going to slip right by on towards green. Their only focus is now Havoc can break their setup.
He can indeed. At least he's able to find 1 for the moment, so it does break things apart. Really, the only sign of adversity it feels like LA Thieves have really seen so far on aLLeY control is basically that moment right there. We'll see how they handle it and start to move their way throughout the map. Currently with the life count advantage, only losing 5 members so far throughout this round number 2. And it is the newly found SMG with the Vaznev in his hands and an opportunity to possibly flank and maybe get his teammates out of a pretty tricky spot for the moment, Jay.
Yeah, that's exactly what Kenny's looking for, to take down Major Maniacs. You can allow your teammates to now overextend. Major still causing problems. He does find 1, but the trade does come in. So now that left alley starts to open up. These can overextend a little bit. Now they just have to fight for that green control, but the double stack is going to be there for Florida. So Brack in a powerful position right now. He has to hold this one down.
He does, and really with that spawn manipulation, it also sets up player 5 to try to go on a spree. Vehicle, he eventually does get found out, so Really, you've got players on the left and the right side of the map for the Florida Mutineers. LAT realize, hey, let's just push to the middle side of the map. Hey, it is a big warehouse after all. And again, it is Kenny trying to lead the way. Trophy down. Eventually falls, but again, it could be an opportunity. They finally are able to jump onto that B zone, so time will halt for the moment. 3 players strong, now make it 2. Drazah toward the top side of the plat. He gets found out. Octane trying to stay alive. The only player really past that 50-yard line. This will have a few members off spawn, but again, it is work having to be put in. It feels like Florida have got every nook and cranny watched. Every nade spot has been solved. And it is a struggle right now on the top side of the map.
Yeah, you can't afford to lose a trades battle if you are Florida, but that's going to be 3 dead. And the positioning of Havoc can be so impactful. Now you give your team an extra layer that they have to run through. He finds the first, finds the second. Not going to go for the child on the third. Old Havoc right there probably goes for that ego challenge, but this time he's going to set up Major Maniac to find the final 2. Florida have held on strong, even though they did give up 2 more segments than they did. This has been a great response for them to get themselves right back into this game. We were looking for the very first defensive round on LSC control, and it's looking like they're going to be pretty damn close to getting it.
It looks like they will. Player 4, it was close. Maybe a few dolphin dives, and he's able to make it there, or G-slide, whatever you want to call it. Thankfully, that's not in this game, at least for now. But yeah, Florida Mutineers get their very first defensive victory on LSC control. That's right. Twitch clip it. You were here to observe it. Okay. Again, not that you'd still like to get them off of that overall A objective, but I feel like overall, Jay, it looked pretty good. Like, it felt like LAT instantly just ran into all kinds of struggles when it came down to the field. You got a bunch of players. I mean, it really felt like the Mutineers were in their element. Like, you saw Vehicle and Havoc getting aggressive, Major Maniac and Brack with those tacks looking very, very well poised in the spots that they were in. Maybe a little bit of life and a little bit of confidence for this team, as they're going to need that throughout the remainder of this series and throughout the remainder of this respawn as well.
Now we just have to find a better start off on your attacking rounds. Another 2 dead, make it 3 dead in the feed. Havoc does find a trade. He also is on a 4 spree. Great shots to take down Drazah before he does get traded. But now you're basically stuck in your spawn. You have to try to overextend up through this B point. Octane going to be the player to cut them off. Major does take him down. So now this opens up a little bit more map control that Florida can start to get pushed up.
You see Major Maniac and Brack trying to clear the way, as we said, for the SMGs, for the Vaznev players, but they just continue to fall. Kenny and Envoy putting in some good work. LAT warehouse, without question, belongs to them. Major's just trying to do anything he can. Trying to do any bit of work possible. And if you're the sole man at a zone, it takes you 45 seconds to capture it by yourself. And I imagine, well, I do have a lot of respect for Major Maniac, Jay. I just don't think that he's going to have 45 seconds of free time. Going to receive a decent amount of adversity, as a few players from LAT focus over at B. Well, there's a lot of fuss being made at that A zone as well. Florida on both.
Yeah, even with Major Maniac not completing 1 segment, he was just forcing the split to come in from the Thieves players. Now we have to focus on A and focus on B, but he stalls enough time for his teammates to win a bunch of those gunfights towards that A point. They should be able to close this one out, but Vico actually is going to drop. So now LA Thieves do not allow that 3rd segment to get completed, that time to get overextended. They just have to hold on to the map control. 1 player in Brack does sneak through to B, so he's going to be able to stop that clock when he needs to. But he's allowing his teammates all to slay around that 8-point. Time to play for some small kills.
Yeah, Brack, oh, great work. Able to find a few and take a look at what that spawn is going to come in from for the Thieves. Very top left, very backside of the mountain. That is the A point captured. Another minute added on to the clock. Currently with that life count advantage, Brack, he's still alive. After finding those 2 spawn kills, he's going to try to add Octane to the mantle. We'll save that duel for another episode, as they're able to find a few. Here we go. The stack is in. They've got support.
And they know where they're spawning too. They know that they're spawning still towards the back right. You just have to win a couple of these gunfights. The second tick is going so fast. It's about to be completed. LA Thieves do get their first assist to 2 gunfights. But as long as you complete that 2nd segment, that's job well done right there for Florida. You probably weren't expecting them to all spawn over towards that cliff side. But at least completing those 2 ticks is job well done. Now 10-10 in lives remaining. The game has to slow down if you're Florida, because all you need is 1 clean 4 dead and the round is yours.
That's exactly right. Easier said than done. Octane, well, he gets stunned and he'll really miss that jump. So early life goes the way of the Mutineers. In some way, a first blood situation. By the way, take a look at player number 8. Brack, how is he back here? See what he can do with a bit of that information. He'll still try to make the play. He's got 2 in his lines of sight. Oh, Octane's able to find him. Brack, that could have been the play that opened everything up. And with that, the Thieves, those red arrows swarm the top side of the map. A few more to find, and this one could be over. However, a few players still remain. Major Maniac just toward the outside of the field. He could go for a late dolphin dive. There's a few players. They start to fall. Only 3 lives left for the LA Thieves. They're on the point. They stack it indeed, and there you have it. Patience will pay off for Florida, as it looked like multiple times throughout that round it might have been chalked, but it's never chalked when you've got Major Maniac in the roster. Mutineers clutch up.
I had a feeling that the lives remaining were going to come into play. It was about 10-10 with 40 seconds left, but all Florida needed to do was just find a couple kills. Once those 2 players dropped on that point, great flank coming in from Havoc to go through that bottom middle building. Finds that 2-piece, and then at that point, the spawns are all the way across the map. No more respawns for the Thieves players, and Florida now take a nice 2-1 lead. Great defensive round. They complete all segments. So now that puts them up by 4. If you're LA Thieves, you need to try to answer that if you want to have defense once again going into round 5.
Oh, you do indeed. Havoc. We've been, talking a lot about him coming into this series. It has not been a great performance. -52 in the last 2 series combined. Trying to turn really the page on what has been a rough chapter 1 to MW2. Is LA Thieves, again, somewhat standard, over toward that A zone off the start. Mutineers just trying to tag him up, maybe get a little advantage when it comes down to lives. Gain some map positioning. And really all 4 players for Florida right now separate. Brack doing a rock in a hard place. Octane's got that high ground advantage, and there he goes.
Literally, Brack was in between a rock and a hard place.
He really was, yeah.
As now the Thieves, they should be able to close out this 8-point, extend time by a minute, and already a lot of map control on their side. Envoy, it's your job to just simply stay alive where you are currently. As the pressure's going to come in towards the flank, you have multiple players from the Thieves trying to push out through radio tower side. They know that the spawns for the Florida Mutineers is going to be all over towards Cliff. But if they can find these kills, they don't even have to worry about these players at green. You just need to take these players down on that B point.
Next one from Drazah, checks top shelf, drops him. And the last 2 players have got to be over toward the field, if not in their green building. Kenny able to wipe away vehicle. Meanwhile, Havoc able to find one himself. Player number 6 in Havoc, again, is the player to look out for. He'll cut away 2. And at the very least, even if he dies, he's at least done a great job. And not only has he found 2, he will find 4 in a row. Great job to apply the pressure, slowing down Thieves. Once again, Kenny trying to make the play. He's got the Vaz, he's got the tack, everything that you'd like. He tries to make a play on the backside, and that is not going to happen. Great work from Florida.
They just hold the line. They're making sure they're watching their pinch, watching every single angle to not allow any players from the LA Thieves to hit that flank. As now it's only a minute left in the game. Currently, the Thieves are down by 2 lives. Octane's able to find 1. Octane's able to find 2. There's no pressure from Florida Mutineers on the right side of the map, so the spawns are going to be all the way across. All you need is stack right now if you're the Thieves.
You absolutely do. You have to stack the point, 1 tick through, halfway there. Can they continue to do it? Trying to stay alive, trying to value their lives, but 3 hit the deck, make it all 4. LAT catch their window of opportunity, but the Mutineers with a great response, and it will not be the second tick in either. So even more work to do if you are LAT. 30 seconds to go. 1 last good push at this.
Oh, big opening kill from Vico to keep the kills stagnant. So now it turns into a 3v3. Havoc, the next player on the pinch, kind of got some great timing. Almost stopped shooting at Octane, but he's able to get the kill, stay up for his team. Major also finds another one, so it's final 10 seconds.
Okay.
If you're LA Thieves, you have to slay your way through. You have to stop this clock.
It's a current 2 versus 2. Brack trying to find a few players off spawn. Meanwhile, he doesn't know that someone's in the objective. Rounds the corner, shuts him down, and this looks to be a game for Florida. Responding in the control. And how about that? Vicola's hype. Maybe yelling out a few Vamoses, and I will join him. Vamos, Jay. Florida up 2-1.
What a map out of Florida right there. Especially great plays from Havoc. I understand like this guy plays a lot of 1v1 search and destroy. He makes his deaths so difficult. And when you have to try to figure out where this guy is at green, he's the guy who shut down that push for LA Thieves when they had a lot of map control. When they slayed everyone off of that B point, it was Havoc who picks up that TAC 56, slays out through top window, finds 3 to shut down that pressure. And even in those final moments, Havoc finds that kill through that alley. Once he gets that kill, Major gets the second. Even though he does get traded, he just does enough for his teammates to get back into the play, hold the defensive line strong, and close out the control. LA Thieves, I can see a reason why they didn't want to play that map. They got definitely a lot of work to do.
Everybody who invested some channel points in the Florida Mutineers feeling like geniuses right now. Feeling like absolute geniuses. And early on, man, like it was just a commanding start for the Thieves. Like it was absolute dominance. It felt like shades of that Florida versus Røkkr round 5 that you were alluding to earlier, Jay. I was like, they got trapped in the back of their base, but this time they just came out with a game plan. They have obviously gone back to the drawing board, figured out what they want to do here on aBeZy Control, and they come away with the big one. We call them the 2-3-5 team, and right now they've got 2, they've got 3. Who knows if we'll get to the game 5 or not, but they find themselves in the driver's seat versus the defending world champions.
Yeah, and you got to be feeling good because you're going into an aBeZy hardpoint where you have had a rep on it. You did go up against the Vegas Legion. Unfortunately, you did fall short by about 43 points. But on the opposite side, the Thieves haven't played this map, so it's going to be completely off guard. You don't know how the Thieves are going to play it, but I can tell you it should be pretty damn scary because Kenny can run that third AR. And a map like aBeZy, those ARs can be so crucial, but if you are the SMGs on the side of Florida, you just got to continue to play so ratty. Like Havoc, I'm telling you, that guy was making every single death in his column so difficult for LA Thieves to try to pick it up. On a map like aBeZy, it allows your SMGs to play super ratty, play in towards your bathroom corners, play your corners in towards bottom orange, and your setups need to be on point. The only thing that Florida needs to do different that they didn't do on map number 1 is win a couple rotations. They do that, they should put themselves in the driver's seat to potentially close it out 3-1.
And Jay, it's wild like what this would mean for the standings as well.
Right?
Like LA Thieves currently 1-1. They lose this, obviously they'd be 1-2. They've got OpTic Texas tomorrow. I mean, that very well could be a coin flip type of situation. Obviously, if LAT loses to Florida, I imagine a lot of those channel points gonna go the way of OpTic Texas tomorrow. I mean, we could be looking at a 1-3 type of situation for the Thieves. On the flip side, what this would mean for the Mutineers. I mean, 1-3 versus 2-2 is going to mean a world of difference when we talk about our Major 1, which, by the way, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, I highly recommend that you do so. It's going to be wild. All kinds of events going on there. Our questions still sit in terms of where our rosters are going to be at, but a lot sits in the balance, Jay, when it comes down to this series for both of these teams. Overall record and major implications, literally in both sense of the word.
Yeah, both of these squads have a lot on the line. If you're Florida, you're just trying to prove everyone wrong. This is the last team that was formed, basically a scrappy team. Where you look at the players on the roster, you have 2 players coming up from the challenger scene. Havoc and Major obviously have been around for quite some time. You didn't really have a lot of high hopes for this team. We looked at this squad to be the 2-3-5. So far, they have won the 2-3. Can they potentially close out on a 4? Even if they don't, they still got that game 5 search and destroy in their back pocket. I know right now, if you're Florida, you got to be feeling great. You're in control of this series. Just got to make a couple adjustments in your hardpoint game. You can potentially close it out in 4. But such a great control. They made the adjustments from the last time they played it versus Minnesota, and they come out swinging to take a 2-1. So now if you're the Thieves, hardpoint has been your bread and butter. You need this one here if you want to force game 5.
And he brought up such a great point, man. Like in terms of, the Florida Mutineers roster, how they, picked up 2 players from challengers and, in terms of Vehicle and Brack. Another interesting thing is that all 4 players of the Mutineers right now, at some point last season, were in challengers themselves. I mean, this would mean a lot, obviously, for all 4 of these players. We're talking about Major. It also says a lot about the challenger scene. Like, how many props have we given to them? How amazing the players, the talent that has come from the challenger scene, what impact it's made in the CDL. The fact that we could be looking at a group of 4, at some point, challenger players from last season taking down our defending world champions, it would be a headline without question coming into CDL Sunday tomorrow. But into aBeZy we go. We got to keep those conversations at bay for the moment because we have got ourselves some embassy to play. LAT off to a nice start at P1.
Yep, LAT, 16 uncontested seconds. Drazah going to reposition himself into his top bathroom. Finds one, finds two, finds all three. The Alaskan Assassin. I got to follow you up with at least one time in the series. He's able to get a three-piece, relieve some of that pressure over towards P1, but if you're Florida, your main focus is controlling the spawns for the next hard point. They're going to be fully set up towards triple vans. They're watching the overextension through kitchen. But Octane, he's going around the deep street. He can be the guy to break their setup.
Can be indeed. Major Maniac tries to go for the drop shot. Actually does work in this game, believe it or not. Octane, though, able to drop him. Sets up shop, tosses down a trophy. Biggest thing is that where are these spawns going to come in from for Thieves? Still over toward bottom gas. Octane eventually does get dropped. That means Mutineers have early time inside of the hill, but you have got really a mixture of red and green all over this map right now. As Brack tries to set up shop, looks like Mutineers in the more preferred position. And LAT hot on their heels. Draws on Envoy, open things up.
Drazah with a big kill, taking his time towards back kitchen, finds that opening to now allow the LA Thieves to get them off at this point. Great shots from Major to take down Drazah, but it's still been a great hard point from Florida Mutineers to get themselves right back into this game. Final 25 seconds, we gotta hit the rotation. Number 7, Mitch's Major Maniac, go left, go the opposite way. Gonna decide not to do that, and it should be the Thieves for an early setup at that AC hill, and also able to get this remaining junk time off of this P2.
Yeah, it's kind of a perplexing little rotation there for Florida. Like, I was staring at the top side of the map, and it was like, I think one player instantly got picked off the spawn, then Major decides to wrap all the way back. The rest of the teammates hit through the mid-cut. Not a whole lot of presence over at the ACs. We'll see if it pans out for them. Sometimes it does, and a lot of the times it feels like if a player just hits the ladder at the right time, it could spell disaster for that roster inside of top ACs. But so far over at P3, it has been all sunny skies, and we know that sun is absolutely bright on this map. Gonna be careful if you're Octane not to turn around. Florida with a little bit of presence. They found a few in a row. Brack, to be specific, sits in the 5 spree. Envoy's hitting beams, and there's 3 down.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the perfect opportunity for Florida to try to take control of top IC. They had full orange control. There was only one player on hill, but LA Thieves find every single kill in the feed and are able to hold this AC hill for a full 60. Give themselves a nice, comfortable cushion going in towards this P4 hard point. One player in Octane is actually going to spawn in towards the back hedges. So he's going to have a free spawn towards the back. Now it's all about Florida. Can they hold this tight setup from the bottom of the embassy building? It's all going to be right here. Kenny does find that opening on kill on the pit, though. This is where it gets a little scary. Iron up if you're Florida.
Yeah, that's without a doubt, man. Feels like in this hill, it's difficult to break. It's also not difficult to hold, but you just have so many different entry points to look at. Definitely be on the inside versus the outside. There's no doubt, but we'll see if Drazah can try to open things up, try to hit a route. LAT, well, they're on the outside of the PD, telling them to come out with their hands up. They found a few picks. That's actually going to be 3. Great little teamwork coming in from the Thieves as they enter in from every single vantage point. But Brack cuts down 3 in a row. Eventually falls, but will set up havoc for the 1v1 victory. How about the plays out of Brack now at 13 and 6, Jay?
Such a big 3-piece to now allow his teammates to get not a full 60, probably a good 59 seconds. Beautiful plays from Florida to get themselves right back into this game, but now they find themselves late off the rotation towards kitchen. 5-point game as Brack is going to hold down top AC. He already earns that airstrike. He finds 2, and not a lot of pressure is going to be on the LA Thieves players. Only 2 players that are pushed up towards the backside of kitchen. Brack is going to read the cutoff beautifully. The pinch is going to be here, and that is a beautifully executed break coming in from Florida.
And it's great to see it through Brack's eyes as well. Again, just on that 4 spree, he's cutting the lanes, being able to be aware of the teammates' call-outs. Mutineers with a perfect break, and a timely one at that, considering what the scoreline could have looked like. Very well could have been a lead change toward the LAT side. Brack's streak does come to an end. Baznev, yeah, believe it or not, actually can take down ARs now. So Kenny able to put that one to good use. Major Maniac, for God's sake, has a Baznev out as well. And that's what it's like when it comes down inside of the kitchen. It is all out chaos as everybody but 3 players hit the deck in about 2 seconds total, fighting for those final 10 seconds. And they do that as well, Jay, considering those next side spawns. A very crafty and interesting first set of rotations. Mutineers up.
Now if you're Florida, with that airstrike in the back pocket, you can use that for that P3 to not allow LA Thieves to get a full 60 on AC once again. As the spawns are going to flip, LA Thieves full control of top catwalk. You're getting some good time. Major's able to take them off for now. Your main focus is just maintaining this backside of kitchen. You want to make sure you control the spawns going to the next hard point, because neither one of these squads should get a hefty amount of time off P1.
Yeah, P1 to P2, you got to be aware of the rotations. You also have to be conscious of the spawns. A lot of things to manage, a lot of things to keep track with. And in the midst of that, let's go on board with our defending world champions listening to Thieves.
Next guy here. We're playing PD, bro. I'll stay here. First truck. On the truck. He's on your guys' truck. That point. Pelican. I hit him one. On the van. Two here. Two. I hit Pinch just as well. Top flat above you. Top flat. And one shot. Top flat still, bro. He's still there. Still flat. I'm going gas, guys. On the truck. I will. I played the back. Hold on 2 seconds. I can maybe get you guys on the van. Down in the fucking. Where they at? Vance. Go for me. I will. Deep right, Ken. All the way back there. On the van. Twice on the van. Go on. Just I'm down. Front laundry. Some bro. Front laundry. I hear you front laundry. He's like following us, bro. Yeah, I'm trying to trophy. I'll take a laundry. I need it, bro. P1 major. P1 major. You got him? I still Vance. Two Vance. On time, single van. On time, single van. On time, bro. I spawned him down, bro. Give me a minute. Keep one on us. About to play the Vance. Tell down, bro. Time, bro. Vance is so happy, bro. I'm absolute. Hold up. Nice. Close time, close up. Yep, Vance. It's out there. That's fine. I hit him 3 times. He's still mid-time. Still dead. Last shot. Gas. 4. We spawner. Have it, gas. Could be. Get on there. That's a good time. Have it, gas. Okay. Top office. Because I got gas. No.
I mean, that was a nice little check-in with the Thieves. I mean, one of the biggest positives we talked about this roster when it came down to their championship run was, in fact, the comms. But a little bit of frustration right now, Jay, when it came down to parking lot. Like I said, everybody was calling things out properly. It just felt like they couldn't get the kills. Mutineers, this has been beautiful hardpoint. Yeah, Florida's setup right there was just way too strong. They had everything cut off. They were forcing all of LA Thieves to try to attack this through PD, and the streak gets called in beautifully. Exactly, you needed not the team kill, but at least the break does come in. You do not allow the Thieves to get a full 60 hold to get themselves right back into this game. Keep it a little bit stagnant. Now it's only 1 player left on the point for the Thieves roster. The final 25 should be theirs. But if you are Florida, you need to do the same exact thing. Crack 26-13. Already another 4-3. This young challenger player, used to be a former pro player, is making it move right now in this series. And like we said, what it would mean for all 4 of these players to walk away with this series. Again, so many people calling out the Mutineers. What kind of roster change was this? What kind of players are you bringing onto this squad? Right now, they're up 20, really making LA Thieves sweat it out as now we head in toward the office. What could be a hard point that really settles the score? What could decide the series? Comes down to how well Florida hold and how strong LAT can be on the break as Brack called upon again. Goes for the dolphin dive. Pulls out the gunfight. That's going to be 2. Pulls out the Vaz on a little bit of a heater. But again, Mutineers, they are feeling it right now. Kenny thankfully comes away with 2. Back and forth we go, and LAT a timely break at that. Yeah, LA Thieves need this time right here, but that's going to be 2 dead in the feed. Florida know that they have controls of spawns for that kitchen hill, but look at the mini-map. The spawns are actually going to flip with so much aggression coming in from Florida. They have to try to execute a break once again on towards kitchen. Great shots from Major to pick up that last kill. The final 15 is going to be in favor of Florida. Should put them up by 30 points. Brack and Havoc off the rotation, find 2 kills, and now this is scary because the LA Thieves need to get a break on a very difficult hill. They do indeed. And Havoc, he's dolphin diving side to side, tosses out a nade, but does get dropped. That big opening pick there from the Thieves, and it comes at the hands of the Dark Prince. Nade tossed out, second wave. Now it's going to be on to Brack. Oh, and he finds 3. But Octane, he comes away with 2 of his own. Position known in Thieves. Opposite side spawns. This is going to be a little bit of a pinch. Octane comes away with all 4. It is a team wipe from SMG Tane. My goodness, Sam LaRue. It feels like Thieves are making the clutches when they have to. A big 20 seconds left still here at kitchen. Sam LaRue for 2 with 2 different weapons. Wet Superman right there. Picks up the fast left. SMG Octane can do it all. As a much-needed break comes in for the Thieves, keeps this game really, really close. Now we find ourselves on the 3rd rotation of hard points. Florida, their main focus is to make sure they control over towards parking lot.
They find that initial gunfight. Havoc does find 2, causing problems around Laundry. And now Florida able to get some more much needed time off of this P1, getting closer and closer to 250.
My goodness, this has been such a tense hard
Banger.
Dude, it just feels like LAT. Opposite, really the total opposite of what was the hotel hard point for game number 1. Like, it was consistently Florida working from the back foot. This one has felt the opposite. Thieves working from the back foot, and that's what happens when a roster who's been counted out starts to get some momentum. They start to get some hype. As now 20 big seconds still left at P1, and you can still walk away with this. I mean, this is great time right now if you are the Mutineers and Jay, LAT. They just got the top side spawn. They've got the advantage if they go for this gunfight.
Yeah, you got to break through the street side of your LA Thieves. A good initial gunfight from Kenny to take that player off of that initial time. But the pinch now is going to come in for Major Maniac. He's going to be the guy that goes through that staircase door. Can potentially set it up, works his way through top plat. He's set up for the crossfire. No one is dropping. No one is giving him an easy kill. But you're going to use those tacks. Beautifully played right there for Major Maniac. Now you take control on the left side. All of LA Thieves spawning out at orange. 10 seconds away from Florida calling series.
Can the Mutineers do it? Brack puts in another one. Last few seconds, Fecal goes for the dive. Eventually drops. Somebody just has to get the
lay down.
Claim your seconds. Win the series, Florida. And there you have it. Doubt us, why don't you? The Mutineers stun the LA Thieves in a much needed series victory. What an upset it is, and how sweet does that have to feel if you are Florida? And if you're somebody who invested those precious channel points, there you go. A 3-1 victory in the books. And Jay, how about those stats out of Brack?
You are a millionaire if you are in the chat when it comes to channel points. 2.7 million in favor of the LA Thieves, going up against 550 for Florida. We can never doubt these guys again. The ARs came to play. I thought it was going to be scary going up against the LA Thieves roster who have 3 AR players who can be fairly dominant, especially when Kenny decides to pull out that third. But they just simply could not have an answer for Brack. Positive 21 with 2 minutes in Hill, almost 4,000 damage. That guy was a man on a mission. 33 non-traded kills. Oh my God, that guy went insane, man.
Jay, 2 minutes of Hill time.
Mr. Do It All, man. Florida just simply did not make any mistakes. They knew in the very first rotation of hard points, the hard point that costed them the lead was that AC Hill. When you allow Brack to slay the way that he did, he earns that airstrike, doesn't get all that time up to the LA Thieves. They win that rotation over towards P4, and then even at P5, the Thieves had the rotation not once, but twice. They do not win their initial gunfights, and Florida, they strike, and they pound on that point. And they were able to close out what has been an insane series. Congratulations to the Florida Mutineers, the underdogs. Definitely when it came to this one, they get it in a 3-1 and now go into the major at a 2-2. Oh, that's good. That's good for Florida.
That is spicy if you're a Florida fan. And now it puts the Thieves in such an interesting spot at 1-2. OpTic Texas tomorrow. My goodness, a stunner to close out what has been a legendary of some good old Call of Duty. That's going to be it for myself and Jay. We hand it on over to the desk. A 3-1 victory for Florida. Who would have thought, Chris?
I'm up to 7,600 challenge points, kids. That's all I'm saying. iLLeY, a stunner, though, and we were talking about it in the green room. We all became a fan of one man from the Florida Mutineers today. It was Havoc in the Search and Destroys for me previously. Tonight, in the respawns, it's got to be Brack.
Yeah, no, obviously it has to be Brack after that showing. I mean, 39 and 18, 2 minutes in Hill time. I think Jane Lando said it best, just absolutely doing everything on the map that he could possibly do. And kind of a surprise, right? This is a player that is actually a veteran in the Call of Duty scene overall, but not to the CDL when we moved into franchising. So to come out like this with a win against LA Thieves, huge.
Taking a look at his gameplay here in Game 4. I mean, we're going to get highlights from everybody, but Nameless, this was the name we saw pop up, multi-kill.
Oh, he was going crazy.
Was his gun? Was it his anchoring? Was he the guy getting the cutoffs? What was he doing for the team? Because there's so much going on in Call of Duty. It's hard for us to dial in on an individual sometimes.
Yeah, he was making some just crazy plays. Like when you look at the bottom office hill, they were only up about 10 points. He is in their last alive bucket, pops a 3-piece from that position. They get the remaining time. You see the 3-piece right there. So they're actually down 30 points there. And then he rotates over, gets to top bridge, and gets control of the next hill on the cutoffs with his team. So not only is he getting the gunfight wins, he's getting the big brain plays, and he's making the rotation.
And this one, unfortunately, takes out Major Maniac on the second swipe, though. But you clear the hill. How many breaks did we see from the Mutineers when it came to that game 3?
Well, what's insane about the Mutineers is actually heading into this, I touched on the fact that the biggest disparity in hardpoint was the fact that they had a 14.8 break percentage heading into this, and I bet that has doubled now simply off the back of Brack.
Huge game number 4, I should say, not game 3, a 3-1 victory for the Mutineers, as we are going to see LA Thieves no longer playing for the #1 seed in their group. Well, potentially, it could get crazy tomorrow, but more likely now going to be a #2 seed in one of these groups after 2 losses.
It's tough, man. Like, I don't expect LA Thieves to come out so weak in a game on like hardpoint. And then also the control. The control was abysmal on the side of the LA Thieves. Like, Havoc was alive for so long in their bottom ammo. They just couldn't kill him there. Just some struggling on their pushes, giving up multi-kills. Like, they're usually really good at playing their lives. It was not the case throughout this series. I don't know if it was an adjustment to the meta, because keep in mind, LA Thieves were one of the teams that wanted to keep the M4 in. So that's a big difference in gameplay we saw today for the LA Thieves.
Interesting point there, Nameless. aLLeY, I got to get your thoughts here. LA Thieves, OpTic Gaming face off tomorrow. We saw OpTic get the W. You saw the struggle from LA Thieves tonight. Are you worried for Thieves, our returning champs from last year, in the matchup against OpTic tomorrow?
Oh yeah, I'm worried. I might be joining the green wall tomorrow when that matchup takes place.
We got to take a look at our Scump play of the game as we say goodbye to the Mutineers versus Thieves matchup. Brack, show them one more time, Nameless. We got another clip. This is a freshie. Walk me through it.
Oh, so this must have been from the map one. This was actually a tough map for the Florida Mutineers. But so here we go. We're going to move on over back to that game number 4. This has got to be just Brack. So this is after the 3-piece he got in bottom office. This is what I was talking about. He rotated through orange, got to top bridge, picks up a kill, jumps down, and gets in the hill with his teammate, where they picked up so much time here. And from this like flurry of kills and the rotation that he had there, that just gave them all the momentum that they needed throughout the rest of the game.
And look at the reaction times. You take one bullet in the back, you dive to safety, you pop the 180, you win the gunny. He was doing that multiple times. Our observer catching a great example there. Now here's another scenario. 3 players on the other side of the door. He's just buying you times. It's not always the kills that need to be registered.
What is insane about what we're watching is he's putting the trophy down. He's anchoring. He's got the AR out getting 3 pieces. He's got the sub out getting hill time. He's getting the opening kills on the rotation. When I say like all around player, that is who Brack became in this series. And I can only hope for consistency out of this type of player.
All right, let's keep the show running as production has so many highlights for us to go through. We saw Florida Mutineers come out on top of this one, and we have plenty more games to go through. Atlanta versus Las Vegas was the first matchup we saw. We saw Texas versus London. We saw New York versus Boston. I got to get your thoughts here, Ant. What was the highlight on the day for you out of those 4 matches?
Oh, man, I mean, there was a lot of good games today. We had some game 5s. I'm going to go with that New York and Boston game. Just some heroic efforts on the side of KiSMET and HyDra in games 3 and 4. I mean, a crazy offensive win, round 5 of control, and then seeing the routes that KiSMET was hitting, putting up the numbers that he did, that just got so much life put into the New York Subliners. They have momentum going into this major.
Ogre2 in the chat from Florida says, thank you, CDL fans. I'll take those easy 10K channel points. The GOAT from the Halo world. The GM down for the Mutineers. As we take a look at some of the highlights here, Atlanta FaZe, Vegas Legion. FaZe needed the win here to go 2-2 in the opening 2 weeks. Looked pretty easy against the Legion today, aLLeY.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was going to set up our day to be a quick one, but unfortunately our second match clearly cleaned that up for us to be a game 5. But Atlanta looked much better in this series, and is that a testament to how good they are or how much Vegas Legion is still struggling? We'll have to find out later tomorrow when we see Vegas Legion play their last match against Minnesota Røkkr.
Maybe it's just an online thing. We'll see them in Raleigh on LAN. OpTic, though, coming in on the day, taking on a 2-1 London Royal Ravens. With a 1-1 record, OpTic needed the W. They got it, and they got a huge performance out of Scump, who's now rocking a mustache.
Yeah, and it was in the search and destroy. Scump, I think he went 15-4 combined across both S&Ds. To me, they've been the most impressive search and destroy squad. The adjustments they had, the VOD research, how they played against against London. Like, London looked great in Search coming into this series. Just got hard countered so bad by OpTic Texas. For OpTic, though, a little bit concerning in the hard points. aSim was doing whatever he wanted to them. OpTic had some pretty poor rotations today, so I'm hoping that gets better tomorrow versus Thieves.
Keeping it moving, New York Subliners continue to impress after the TAC 56 is in the game. Undefeated Boston Breach going up against the Subliners. It's all Boston for games 1 and 2. This one, though, a round 11 clutch. Boston now up 2-0 in the series. But the Subliners roaring back 3 straight, including a 39-kill performance from HyDra on that map 3.
Yeah, it's the first reverse sweep of the season, and I'm sure the first of many when it comes to a team like the New York Subliners that when the momentum is put into their court, they take that ball and roll with it. And it was really off the play of HyDra in that round 5 control where he breaks through over onto the A site and with the final seconds ends up getting that capture. And then even into the Hydro, it was KiSMET making the plays. You got to be swimming if you want to be winning, and that is what the New York Subliners did to make it to the game 5, and then they closed it out in a 6-3 fashion.
Yeah, I love what I saw to New York today. They really rallied behind HyDra in that huge performance. He had 24 offensive kills, starting with a massive 3-piece. And honestly, in that game for HyDra, I thought Breach had a pretty good performance. It's just a couple, positions where they gave up the water. KiSMET was able to get through, and KiSMET did some KiSMET things. That's what I was looking for out of KiSMET, though, is to be the route man. That's what he did last year, and that's when his teams find hardpoint success. So congratulations to New York.
I think it's still very early in the game as everyone is still taking notes, but we have one man who is ready to head to his first LAN of the season. We got Brack on the phone live right now from the Florida Mutineers, coming off that victory over LA Thieves. Brack, first of all, awesome to see you on the Mutineers. I know a lot of people are excited to see you on a starting lineup this year, but talk to us about your role, because the numbers today were astronomical. You were popping off.
Yeah, I think we all have a really big role in the team, obviously, but in my opinion, and what we think about like individual roles is there really isn't any. There's no like main AR or flex, to be honest. Me and Mike do a really good job of communicating about pulling out a different sub and whatnot. So
awesome. Congratulations on a huge win, Brack. And I mean, I gotta ask, what's the difference from last week into this week, especially you as a player? Is it the meta? Are you just more comfortable now? Like, you were frying today. Like, you were putting your team on the back and making some serious plays on the map.
I don't think I was carrying the first and the third map. I think they were doing a really good job, my teammates. And I don't know. I think last week and yesterday, our match yesterday, we just weren't performing like we usually do. Our scrims have been going actually pretty well for the most part. And I think if we just all perform individually well, it really shows how good we are. And I think it just showed in our match versus LA2.
Brack, congratulations on the win. You were going crazy, man, popping off as we see some of your highlights. The last time I remember you popping off on the pro level, back in Black Ops 4, and you're doing your thing. How does it feel to be back? Is there anything you want to say to the rest of the pro players because last time we saw you, you were going crazy, and now you're back where you deserve to be? Yeah,
I think a lot of people have been sleeping on me and the whole team, just in general, but I think people are going to have to really watch out, because I think we're a really good S&D team, and Respawn is really starting to form as of late. So I think people actually got to, not take it slightly when it comes to next weekend.
Brack, I finally want to ask you a little bit about your thoughts coming into Raleigh. You guys are going to finish, it's looking like, with a 2-2 record, so that should put you in the middle of the groups. Are there any teams that you're hoping to draw in your group? Is there any bad blood for you in the league right now?
No, there's not really any bad blood. I always like playing Scrap, I always say that, so it's always fun playing him, so maybe Toronto, but I don't think it really matters who we play. As long as we play how we did versus LAT, we'll be fun.
And I got to get your thoughts looking at our top 4. Currently, it's Minnesota Røkkr 3-0, Texas OpTic 2-1. Same thing with the Ultra and the Breach. How would you rank the top 4 teams on the current standings?
Minnesota's been doing really well. I would say Minnesota, Toronto, Boston, and probably FaZe are my top 4.
I'm loving it, Brack. You're not dodging my questions, which makes you one of my favorite interviewees. Yep. And we're going to let you go celebrate with the team, brother. Excited to see you down south in just a week.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
So great to have Brack on here. He's slaying in-game. He's crushing the interviews. And now this is a win that this team can build off of, right? You were talking up until Raleigh about this win, about what you can do moving forward. Is this a threat, actually, once we get to land Nameless? Is it too early to call?
It's too early to call that, I would say. But I would say if you're a Florida Mutineers fan out there, this is very impressive, the turnaround that they've had and the adjustments they made in Respawn. They did not look this good in Respawn prior to this match. Going up against LA Thieves, that is no easy feat. This has been a team that has looked good so far. They're your reigning champs. To come in here and win that and now put LA Thieves in a situation where they possibly don't have a top 6 seed, that's impressive.
aLLeY, we've got one more day of open qualifiers before we get into Raleigh. The online qualifiers, I should say. Our CDL team's going toe-to-toe with 4 more battles. Minnesota Røkkr taking on Vegas Legion, as Røkkr is looking to be the only team to post up a 4-0. Surge will face off against Ultra, trying to play spoiler against a 2-1 Ultra. LA Thieves going up against OpTic, and Boston Breach get one more chance against the Guerrillas. Toughest matchup of the day there.
Definitely that OpTic and LA Thieves one. I think that's going to be a gruesome battle until the end, but all of our matches tomorrow have so much on the line. It's going to be a great day.
LA Thieves going to come back better tomorrow?
I think they'll come back better. I think it'll be a Game 5 series, but I'm going to go with OpTic in that one, actually.
Going OpTic early. Guys, it's too early for predictions here.
Yeah.
Save your channel points tonight. Get them fresh. Get them ready tomorrow. I need your predictions all day long. It's kicking off at 3 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for tuning in. Day 2, week 2. We'll see you for another big Sunday tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern.